Good morning, River Chase. Welcome to another Thursday devotional. I hope that you're all doing well and staying safe. These are very interesting times that we live in, and I want to talk to you today about hanging on. In 1936, the Germans built an enormous Zeppelin. It was an 800-foot long airship called the Hindenburg. As they were getting ready to maneuver the Hindenburg into a hangar, about 100 men were on the ground and hanging on to ropes hanging from the Zeppelin. Unexpectedly, the huge airship rose. It rose up with a huge force, and as soon as it lifted, some of the men let go of the ropes. They dropped down to the ground and they were fine. They didn't get hurt. Some others hung on a little bit longer, waited until they were about 50 feet off the ground before they let go. And when they did, they broke their ankles. Some of them broke their legs. And a few others panicked and instinctively tightened their grip on these ropes. And they went up with the balloon, but couldn't hang on forever. Their arms and their hands grew weak, so they let go and fell to their deaths. Soon, the Hindenburg began to hover and drift with the wind several hundred feet up. But one man was still holding on. He was hanging from the airship. The people on the ground wondered just how long this man was going to last, and they chased the Hindenburg for about 3 hours. Eventually, the Hindenburg lost altitude, it landed, and that last man was able to let go and walk away. They asked, "How did you hang on for so long?" And he replied, "Once the blimp took off, I tightened my grip, and I soon realized that I couldn't hold on forever. So while hanging on with one arm, I used my free arm to wrap the remaining rope around my waist and then tied a knot. So for 3 hours, I just hung there, trusting the rope, and enjoyed the view." Friends, like this guy, we've got to hang on. Last week, I talked about the death of Moses. The Israelites then mourned for a month. And before he died, he installed Joshua as his successor. Joshua had proved his might and resolve in battle and in leadership. Joshua was among 12 scouts that Moses had sent ahead into Canaan to report back what they had seen. But only Joshua and Caleb urged the people to enter the land. They were sure that God would provide victory as he had promised. But because the other 10 scouts doubted their strength of God against the giants and towering cities, they didn't go, and God sentenced them to 40 years in the desert, 1 year for each day the scouts explored the land. 40 years later, and after the death of Moses, and of all the adults at the time of this doubt, only Joshua and Caleb's feet walked into the promised land. Friends, now is not the time for doubt. Now is the time for courage, and confidence, and faith. We've got to hang on. Let us tie the rope, the belt of truth, around our waist and trust God. Trust that we will rise above the danger, escape the evil that's brewing around us and below. Hang on to what we know is good and true and holy, that God will set our feet where he has promised. Our promised land is not in the world, but in the heavenly places. Hang on. The ride will be bumpy, it will be scary, and sometimes it will be breathtakingly beautiful. Having hope in Christ doesn't mean everything is always going to work out the way we want it. Our hope in Christ is so much more. It's our faith in Jesus' resurrection, that he's gone ahead to prepare a place for us in our promised land. Our future is secured by God, and that is the only thing worth building hope on. We must tie a knot in the promises of God and hang on. I love you, River Chase, and I look forward to worshiping again with you this Sunday. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.